welcome back to my channel and my next beer review. This is the limited release Deschutes Brewing Company out of Bend, Oregon, Northwest Pale Ale. Here's a bottle that I'm sure you've all seen before, or at least a likeness of it, right? Well-known beer. This is not a new release. This beer was introduced around 2010. Bottle conditioned for quality. Live yeast added to the bottle allows this beer to age gracefully and stay fresher longer. Keep bottles upright and away from light and heat. This is what I was reading right here to the side. We'll get the rest in a little bit. There's a little more detail on the website here. I'll read some now and some a little bit later. The citrus punch of a big IPA minus the one-dimensional hop sledgehammer. Several select European and domestic malts round out the edges for a complex copper-colored brew. Like its namesake ski lift, it's an insider's ride to fresh thrills. Brewer's notes say, a citrus punch, bold hop aroma, and clean finish. Not only is it available in regular bottles CO2, it's also available on nitro. This beer is seasonal. It's kind of a combination of winter and spring. It's available December to April. A typical 6-pack of this is about $9. They list the basics of the recipe, not the quantities, but at least the ingredients on the website, so you have an idea. The malt bill, grain bill, pale, crystal, Munich, carapils, and pilsner. Pale malt, which could be either 2-row or 6-row, although 2-row is more common. Bread, cracker, dough, biscuit. Pilsner malt is the lightest of all malts. Some toasted sweetness and a little bit of bread cracker. Between pale and pilsner malt, pilsner is lighter in color. Crystal malt really depends on what they use. There's a whole array of them, from light to dark, and the flavors go from candy-like sweet, raisin, burnt sugar, plum. Munich is very malty. Carapils, also as Carapilsner, body and head foam retention. The hops are Cascade and Centennial. Cascade is a citrus hop, primarily grapefruit, although I've heard some people say lemony and also floral. Centennial hops are a little bit stronger than a Cascade, piney, earthy, citrus, and floral notes. The flavors I would expect from this beer: sweetness or caramel toffee, malty backbone, some toasted, bready notes to it. Add the hops on top of that, so floral, lemon, grapefruit maybe, earthy. I don't expect all those flavors I described, but some combination. Body style for this is typically going to be medium to full. It is 6.2% alcohol, 60 IBU. You can also see that on the side of the bottle right here. Deeper amber copper, malt forward and hop forward. Not unusual to find notes of candy sweetness in there, or maybe some caramel, floral, and maybe even some noticeable fruity notes to it. Between ale and lager, while the style is right in the name, it's an ale, so they use top fermenting yeast. Ale yeast can really enrich some of the malty notes. The color that you see is a little different than what I see. Medium, kind of burnt orangish color. It may be even a copper color. I can see my finger on the other side, but it's more of a silhouette really. Definitely did not filter this. They did not use kettle findings. The stuff that's making it so cloudy is most likely the yeast being lower medium flocculating. Could be a protein haze from the malt, but I'm not really positive. As you can tell though, there is no sediment on the bottom, so it's just that most likely yeast haze. This is a combination of a little bit of grapefruit, lemon in there, definitely some piney, earthy, herbal. Love that piney citrusy. The aromas are not so subtle that I don't know they're there, but I'm not really having to focus on them either. I'm really trying to pull them in. They make themselves present without punching you in the face. Coats my mouth in malts and lemony, grapefruit, pine, earthy. They're light coatings, but they're noticeable. There's a good hop bite, but not overpowering, even for 60 IBU, surprisingly. That is nicely offset by the Munich and the Crystal malts. It tastes full body. Good, noticeable malty backbone, immediately followed by some lemony, some grapefruit citrus. That's overlaid with some herbal, piney, spicy, earthy notes. They say here a citrus punch, bold hop aroma, and clean finish. I would tend to agree with that. I could see how somebody gets some bready, biscuit, cracker notes out of this. There may be some hints down there from the Pilsner and the two-row. Now there's so many flavors overlaying each other, just overlapping between the malty backbone, herbal and earthy notes, citrus. They're just all complement each other so nicely. There's no sweetness I'm detecting. I'm not getting fruitiness. I know I said citrus, but to me they're not the same thing. No candy notes. I'm not really getting caramel or toffee notes. No bread, biscuit, cracker that I'm noticing. The citrus doesn't really have any tangy notes to it. It's more, as I mentioned, the piney, earthy, herbal. But the flavors I do get are all very nice, so complementary, well layered. It's just amazing me when somebody can make a beer to where it's multiple layered and has all these flavors and nothing overpowers another one. The malty backbone is a nice complement to those citrusy grapefruit lemon flavors. The mouthfeel is fairly thick and chewy. The recipe is pretty complex. 5 malts, 2 hops. It has a nice complexity to it. Not so rich, but just a good, strong flavor profile. The ale yeast isn't really standing out too much in this. I think it's letting the malts shine more. Coats my mouth top and bottom, divided equal. A layer of malty backbone immediately covered over by citrus, grapefruit, a little bit of lemon. My whole mouth is covered in piney, earthy, herbal notes. The flavors stick around a decent amount of time. There is residual malty and citrusy notes. Still a malty backbone down here, with a little bit of hop nibbling to go along with that. Those malts are offsetting the bitterness. Still multiple layers of citrus and the earthy notes and herbal, as I've mentioned. It is a little on the hoppy side, but not too bad. They say it's 60 IBU. If I didn't know, I would guess probably 50. Not getting bread or cracker, biscuit, or anything like that. Still no caramel or toffee or sweetness. This beer is really not sweet or fruity. Still not getting notes from the yeast, and as I mentioned, I think that they're letting the malt shine through the most, followed by the hop flavor. Between the bottle and the glass, I can't tell the difference. They taste the same. Deschutes quality control is great. They have a lab, they have microbiologists working for them. I would never expect to find off flavor in any of their beers. I have my whole list I go over in most videos. I'm gonna skip it this time. There are no off flavors in any of their beers I've ever had. Would I buy this beer again? I would buy this periodically. It's not my favorite style, but the quality and the flavor is really good. Would I recommend it if you like Northwest Pale Ales with that hoppy characteristic and the maltiness and citrus flavors? I think you'd really like this beer. I think they did a very good job capturing the style of a Northwest Pale Ale. It has the flavor, the profile I would anticipate. It's at least average, if not above average. It's one of the better pale ales I've had. Deschutes Brewing out of Bend, Oregon. Red Chair Northwest Pale Ale. If you have any comments, feedback, suggestions, want to talk about this beer or other beers, or have questions about beer, send me a message. That's all I have for this beer review. Cheers! Scroll up. There, scroll up. Okay. Also mention something about my cool glass here too. Jesus! Mouthfeel is fair. Yeah.